Welcome to the Wednesday Call Live. Let's hear from our special guest host, Jason Mathis.
What's up, Alliance family? Welcome to the TWC Call. I'm fired up. We have got an awesome show on here with some powerful people. Thank you to Jane and Andy Albright for setting up this awesome thing that we call the Alliance. It is a big family across the nation of this great country, America. So I'm going to go over some just housekeeping stuff that we're going to go over real quick and launch into this awesome TWC on recruiting. How do you recruit people? How do you learn how to do it? How do you talk to people? How do you talk to the different personalities? So we are going to get that out. But real quick, we want to go over some different events that are going across America. So we've got a bunch of powerful people flying all over America doing trainings. We've got Albright doing the Gulf Coast tour. November the 9th, today, Mr. Andy Albright, our CEO, is going to be in Houston, Texas with Corebridge, also known as AIG. Starts from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. My wife, Olga Mathis, is going to be out there. Hey, baby. From 1 to 6, and then team building from 7:30 onward p.m. Texas time. He's going to next, Andy Albright, November the 10th. Tomorrow going to be in Albuquerque, New Mexico. They're going to be doing from 9:30 in the morning until 12 noon. And make sure, guys, you understand how to get this to people, that get your people to these world-class events. What better way than to introduce someone to the Alliance than the guy who started it out of his basement, right? And has become, help a bunch of people become multimillionaires in this business. So there's a link you got to register. So you're going to go to theallianceevents.com. Events has an S on the end of it. So make sure you go there, send that out to them, and then send them the registration link and get your team people out to these events. November the 10th in Atlanta, Georgia, we've got the spectacular, awesome, nationwide trainer, product specialist, Gina Hawks, out there in Atlanta. She's doing some training from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. And then she's doing an opportunity company overview from 7 to 8, and then training after that until 9:30 at night. Albright Whirlwind Tour is going to be in Dallas, Texas, Big D, November the 10th. Doing some training from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. Texas time. The next day, November the 11th, he's going to be in Indianapolis, Indiana, doing training from 11:30 in the morning to 2 p.m. And then the awesomeness Gina Hawks is going to be in Charlotte, North Carolina. If you got people that love product knowledge and want to learn about the products and how to help families and explain it to families, Gina Hawks is your girl. She's going to be in Charlotte, North Carolina, November the 14th, doing some training from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. They take a break, and then they're back at it from 7 p.m. to 9:30. November the 15th, Gina's going to be in Boston, Mass., up there with Mr. Chris Norris from Burlington Alliance Capital Management. We call them BAM because the C is silent. They're going to be doing some training from 2 to 5 p.m. And then an opportunity meeting company overview, 7 p.m. to 9:30. And then we've got the most famous Cuz Everett, who got Andy Albright into business over 20-some years ago. He's going to be at the worldwide corporate headquarters in Burlington, North Carolina, November the 15th, doing an opportunity company overview meeting from 7 p.m. to 10. Get your people out there. And then we've got Adam Katz and Todd Swenson. Todd Swenson with Columbian Financial Group. I love Columbian Financial Group. What a great company, guys. They're going to be doing opportunity meeting and training from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. And then November the 17th, the awesomeness we know is Riddle Universe. Andy Riddle's going to be in Tampa, Florida, November the 17th. He's going to be doing an opportunity meeting company overview, 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. And then on November the 19th, which happens to be my wedding anniversary, 17 years. Thank you, Olga, for being married to me. You're awesome. He's going to be doing a boot camp. And Stephen Davies is a world-class trainer in what we do. Get your team out there. It starts at 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. There is a registration link for a lot of these. Make sure you are getting your people there. Make sure they understand the allianceevents.com. If you were to ask me, what is the number one thing that has helped me blow up my business and recruit hundreds of people and help over 350 families a month? The single thing is getting people to our national events. We do 4 of them a year. They're all scheduled for 2023 already. They're already in my schedule. Get your team players, your agency owners that you're working with to these 4 national events. All of them are scheduled for 2023. The next one is going to be in Dallas, Texas. We're calling it our national convention. Dallas, Texas, January 13th, 14th, and 15th. You're going to have all the carriers there. You're going to have world-class training from people like Stephen Davies, Andy Albright, Mark Aceta, Jeff Bright, people that are doing the business, how to sell, recruit, and build, how to build your agency, how to make sales, how to make dials, how to go help families, product knowledge. Gina Hawks is going to be there, President's Club, lead performance team. Like, get your people to these national events. What Albright says is communication is the lubrication to your financial success. So getting people to these events is massive. In Dallas, Texas, it's going to be out there at the Renaissance Hotel in Addison. Starts on January the 13th. So right now, what I'll tell you, to get to be an expert, you got to do 3 things. 1, you've got to read books, listen to audio, and get around the people that are massively successful in what you want to do. Reading books and audio in this day and age with the internet, the Alliance Media app, NAAU, BAM, all these different, that's simple and easy. Reading books and listening to audio, we got it covered, and the price is basically nil. It's that third one. That's the glue that keeps all of them together. Getting around people that are massively successful in what you're putting your hand to be successful is tricky, because the next event is in Dallas. So you probably don't live in Dallas. So you got to fly out there. There's the cost of the flight. There's the cost of the hotel. There's the cost of getting from the hotel to Uber. All that stuff is expensive. And you got to ask yourself, how much is it going to cost me if I don't go? You've got the cost of the event. Right now, guys, this event is only $500, $499, and they're actually doing a sale right now. You can get this ticket right now for $299. And what I would suggest you do is buy a couple, one for you and one for a person you know who's going to be going. So when the price goes up, you can say, hey, look, I knew you was going. I got you a ticket for $299. So make sure you've got these events. I'm just going to tell you real quick. A View from the Edge is April the 21st through the 23rd. Put it on your calendar now. Family Reunion 2023, July the 14th through the 16th. Breakthrough 2023 is September the 27th through October the 1st. So everybody who's anybody is going to be there at this event. You got to get your team and your team players to this event, guys. All right. We have got Ireland. We are still in the race for Ireland. It's only November. You've got the rest of November and all of December to qualify for Ireland. And we do have some announcements. We have 4 additional winners for Ireland. Whoop, whoop. We've got Katrina Gustin, who's made the trip. Congratulations. The trip for 2 plus the extension for 2. Jonathan and Megan Yankee, trip for 2 plus the extension for 2. Joe and Tawny Walker, same thing, trip for 2 plus the extension for 2. And also who also won the trip for 2 and the extension, Stephen and Holly Davies. So congratulations to all those people who have done that. So that's Ireland. But guess what? We got more. We have got New Zealand coming up, guys. We're going to go to New Zealand by way of Sydney, Australia. You've got to qualify for this event. It's only 250,000 points. Now, here's how the points work. If you go, because it's crazy, they're giving 40,000 bonus points for those 4 events I just talked about in 2023. So if you go there it's 40,000 points per event. That's 160,000 points. That leaves you only with 90,000 points to go out there and get credits for issue paid business. Now, if you've been to our awesome trips before, the Alliance is not leaving you out. You can earn 25,000 bonus points for every national event you go to in 2023. So that's 100,000 points off. So now you've only got to do 150,000 points issue paid if you've been on a trip before. And there's more. If you went to Breakthrough in 2022, okay, you actually get to earn New Zealand trip points from November the 1st of 2022 all the way to December the 31st of 2023, because we're going to New Zealand in 2024. So go out there and start helping families and get these points. So I'm getting ready to bring up my buddy, a guy who's been working with me. The Alliance system is powerful, guys. Here's why: because we've got a guy like Andy Albright at the helm of the ship. And when he looked around the country and said, who can I hire and bring on to work with people like Jason Mathis and Terry Edwards and Jake and Marnie Frank, who can I bring on that can teach them how to be a better communicator, a better leader? Like, how do you reach people that you really want to talk to and explain to them truly what the Alliance brings to the table? Andy Albright touched a little bit about it on a book he mentioned he's reading. And basically what the book is about is, hey, a personality test ruined my life because it said I was a lion. It said I was an otter, a golden retriever, a beaver, whatever it was. And that's all I could be. That's not all you can be. You do not have to be crammed in or pigeonholed into your personality type the rest of your life. You can develop yourself with people like Jeff Bright and Andy Albright and Mark Aceta to learn how to communicate with people. Learning how to communicate with the different personality types is the magic to recruiting. That is the art and science behind learning how to do it. So I want to bring up my buddy Jeff Bright. Jeff Bright, come on in here. You've been working with me for 7+ years. Thank you so much for working with me and teaching me that I do not have to be hamstrung, pigeonholed into just this lion personality that my mama made me in my environment and my genetics, maybe that through work and study and, becoming a master and learning these different things that you've taught me and everybody on the Alliance. So thank you for that, Jeff.
Hey, thank you, Jason, for those kind words, and appreciate you inviting me on. And always can talk a little bit of animal talk. We'll talk a little bit of animal talk today. What I like to do, there's people on this call. I like to make a couple statements. I want to make a disclaimer, and I want to make a couple statements because we got some people on here. They're brand new. They don't know what the heck we're talking about as far as animals. I want to catch them up. And then we've got some guests on here, some real live animals. And I've got some stuffed animals here on the floor that I'm going to bring up for effects.
Some visual aids.
Visual aids, yeah. I mean, I bought them. I might as well use them. My wife says don't bring them back to the house. So here's what I'll say about as a disclaimer. Well, I'm going to piggyback on what Jason was saying. I'm just going to read this. This is what I read to everybody when I do any training at any company I've ever been at. I always say this about personality tests because I went to school to learn how to create personality tests. They're wonderful things, tools. They're tools. They're aids, but they're not the end all be all. So I'll say this. There's always a risk with personality tests when you're sorting people into boxes. The most famous boxes you can do is a 4-quadrant box. Even when a person clearly matches the personality test in that box, not everything written about that person matches that type of person. We're as human beings, we're way too complicated to fit us in such a broad brush of a box. And here, secondly, I'd like to say, most of us have a dominant personality. And that's what the personality test, that's what it measures, is your dominant personality. And a lot of us have a secondary personality. But all that means is, and I've said this time and time again when you take any of my tests, is I want to know what your preference is. Do you understand preference? What you're comfortable being, not what you can be. You can be any of these animals. And matter of fact, after today, I hope you realize that you need to be the other three animals. You can't afford not to be all four. All four have a place in this business, and you need to rotate your personality. It can't be, you can't have one size fitting all. And
you must like a hammer for a carpenter don't work on everything. Sometimes you got to pull out a different tool.
Exactly. So we evolve over time, and our traits evolve over time. Do we always keep the one that we're comfortable with? Most of the time, but sometimes we can change. We can change. I used to be more of and I think I still kind of score this way because I'm still kind of stuck in my old ways of thinking, but I've evolved. I've stayed an otter, but my secondary has always been a lion. But I'm mellowing as I get older, and my secondary is not so much a lion now. I've got more of a discernment about me, and I pick my battles, and I'm more of an otter golden. So I've evolved. So I just wanted to point that out to you. Now, we sent out some slides for you. We're not going to bring those slides up. You can look at those slides, but what I would say to you about these slides, and Jason will tell you, Terry will tell you, and Jake will tell you, and Marnie will tell you on this call. I do training with those slides. If they whet your appetite, so to speak, and you want what we call Animal 101 and Animal 102 training, get with your upline, and I'll be glad to get on a Zoom call and walk you through those slides. Okay, so that's my invitation for you to utilize me, and we can have more discussions. Because we're just going to hit the surface today, but we're going to concentrate on the personality types as we call them as animals. Marcusetta calls them colors. Some people use letters. Some people use elements. They have been around forever. I just like animals because people tend to remember the animals. These are not my animals. These are Dr. Gary Smalley's animals. They're not Marcusetta's colors. Somebody else created the colors long before me and Marcusetta stepped into this role, way before we were born. All right, so for those of you who are brand new, and I don't know who you are, but I know some of you don't know what we're talking about. So I want to give you a chance to pick your primary and secondary. So I'm going to read you some choices, and then you can mentally pick what you want, and I'll tell you what you picked. And so you can fit into this conversation, and you won't be lost in this conversation, because that would be just plain rude of me to do that, right? So listen to these pairings. I'm going to give you these pairings, and you get to pick one. And I'm going to let you pick a second pairing as your secondary, your first preference and your second preference. And you notice I say preference. I do not say, I'm not asking you to tell me what you're doing right now currently, because what you're doing right now currently may be not what you're comfortable with, but what you're having to do. I don't want you to tell me what you can do, because you can become anything you want if you want it bad enough. I want you to tell me what is your preference. What is where you're comfortable with this particular pairing. Okay, that's all I'm asking you to pick. So the first pairing is orderly and factual. Orderly and factual. If that's your primary choice, you can let me know mentally, and I can hear you mentally through the Zoom call. All right. The second choice, which I would say orderly and factual would be number one. Number two would be relentless and bold. Relentless and bold. Number three will be reliable and compassionate. And number four will be cheerleading and enthusiastic. Okay? So number one is orderly and factual. Number two is relentless and bold. And number three is reliable and compassionate. And number four is cheerleading and enthusiastic. So I'm prepping you guys so you can like mentally participate in this discussion today, and it'll make sense to you. Because guess what I've got on this call today? I've got representation of all four of those parents. Real live representation, not fake, real live representation of all four. And actually, if me being a fifth member of this team today, I will go ahead and tell you, I chose the fourth one, cheerleading and enthusiastic, because guess why? And you should be able to figure this out. I'm an otter. That's my type. This is me, the otter. Okay. All right. We're going to talk about the otter later. But I've got on this call today, you'll meet him in just a minute, is a real live representation of the otter, and he's going to play the otter part, and he's really comfortable being an otter. It is the famous Terry Edwards is on the call today. All right. And he's going to be our cheerleading enthusiastic otter. Okay. Now, the first one I said was orderly and factual. That represents only 3% of the population. Only 3%. My otter represents 22%. I think it's not enough. I think we need more of us, right? You might say, oh my God, if I have to have more of you, I'll throw up in my mouth. Please don't. All right. So the number one that you may have chose is orderly and factual, and that only represents 3% of the population. And as a good old otter, I go, thank God, because I don't get along with beavers too well. But there's a beaver on this call that I love to death, and he and I get along fine. And we had to search. Me and Jason had to search all over the place to find us a beaver, because there's only 3% of them out there. But we got one. We found one, and he's famous too in the Alliance. Great guy, and he is the beaver, and it is Jake Krause. Jake Krause. All right. So he'll represent our beaver. Then number two, what can I say about number two? Relentless and bold people. Relentless and bold people. We got one of them on here, and you're looking at him. He was the one talking and introducing me and doing all the announcements. We got us a lion, a big old bold, relentless lion, and Jason Mathis. He's going to represent those people today, the Lions. Okay, and then the last one. And by the way, the Lions represent 17% of the population. So we have the beaver that represents orderly and factual. That's 3%. Relentless and bold, Lions represent 17%. And then that fourth type was cheerleader, enthusiastic, otter like me. We represent 22%. So if you did the arithmetic, we left out a big chunk of the population, didn't we? And I'm about to introduce to you the last but not least, the one that you need to learn how to talk to the most, because they represent 58% of the population. You got a real good shot going into somebody's home of running into one of these. Go to Walmart shopping on a Sunday. 6 out of 10 people walking around in there is this. And when you go to recruit people, you got a real good shot of running into this fella right here. And we've got this sweet 58% of the population golden retriever right here, represented by my sweet friend Marnie Frank. Okay, so that's what we're doing today, and we're going to have a good time doing it. I hope you have a good time doing it. So I hope you picked your primary type and your secondary type, and that was your preference. But we're going to ask you to, hey, guess what? You're going to have to learn to be all four types, and every one of these animals has one opposite. That is their struggle, that they have a hard time relating to. We call it a dysfunctional relationship in sociology. So what I'm about to do is introduce to you the first dysfunctional relationship that we need to work on when you're recruiting, because it's easy to recruit two of the animals if you're one of the animals, but that fourth animal is your opposite, and you're going to have to learn to talk their language. We call it the animal language. Some people call it love languages. I call it animal language. So the first pairing that we're going to look at is my type. Remember me, the enthusiastic. And you're going to meet another enthusiastic person in a second with Terry Edwards. He's the otter. Then Jake Krause is that beaver, remember? And these two have a struggle with each other because they come at it completely different. You know, they got a different view or different perspective on life. And it's, if I want to recruit a beaver and I'm an otter, I'm going to have to learn to use beaver vocabulary words. I'm going to have to use beaver language to recruit that beaver. I can't expect to remain my otter self and recruit this beaver. It is not going to end well for me. And the same thing goes for the beaver. The beaver's going to have to learn otter language if they're going to recruit the otter. They can't talk beaver language to recruit an otter. I hope that makes sense. I hope it does. I'm trying. These visual aids are supposed to help. All right. So let's try to have these real life people come on here and let's have a conversation wrapped around the opposites of that. We need to bridge this gap between the otter and the beaver. So Terry Edwards, my otter friend, and Jake Krause, my beaver friend, can we open them up and let them come on here right now to have a discussion?
Woohoo! We here, Jeff.
There he is. There he is. That's my people. He's my people. And look, we've learned we've learned that, hey, I know in my life, and Terry knows in his life, we as otters need a beaver because we are flying by the seat of our pants. We're not so good with details. So we need a beaver. I mean, having a beaver in my life keeps me organized. I got Pam upstairs, and man, I don't know what I would do without Pam. I would be all over the daggone place. So those people I have learned to respect because I need them. I need them really bad. So, hey, can we bring Jake on? Your opposite, Terry?
I'm here.
All right, wait a minute. We're having.
No,
we're live.
Yeah, I can see them. You just can't because you're on your phone. But they're there. Yeah.
I can see it. Okay. Jake's Tia. Tia's a lion, by the way. All right. Listen. Y'all play nice together today, okay? Y'all play nice together. All right. I never had y'all in the same sandbox together. So let's play nice. We're going to pretend today. Mm-hmm. We're going to pretend that Jake is trying to be recruited by Terry and vice versa. And Jake is going to enlighten all of you out there, especially you otters, what he wants you to say to him to get him to join the alliance. How should Terry recruit him? He's going to enlighten Terry what beavers want to be said to them. And the same thing's going to be done on the other side. Terry's going to tell Jake if he was recruiting Terry as an otter, how he would need to approach Terry. So I think this is valuable information. It's valuable for anybody, regardless we're talking about animals. But it's really important for me and Terry to listen really carefully what Jake's going to light us up with and say, hey, this is what we need to do. Just some pointers, right, Jake? So can you go first, Jake, and tell us some of the things that you would want? How do you want us to approach you?
Absolutely. And I'll say that even though I'm a beaver, I am really excited to be on here, even though it's kind of out of my natural habitat. I am excited to be on the TWC. I'm grateful that I was asked to be on here. And I love Terry Edwards. You know, we might be opposite animals, but I will tell you, there's nobody that I love more than Terry Edwards because he is a lot of what I'm not. You know, he's got that enthusiasm. He's got that. And I really appreciate that about him. I really do. It helps me to be able to model after somebody. Because here's the thing, an otter is a great salesperson also. And if I'm a beaver and I can't attract an otter, you know, what's that going to do for my organization? So it's really more important for me to be able to learn to speak Terry's language than the opposite because, you know, otters are so good at sales. But one thing that,
hey, Jake, I couldn't agree more.
I know. And that's, yep, it's true. It's truth. It's factual. And that's what I'm going to talk about a little bit. So, you know, if I would say, Terry, if you're going to try to attract me as a beaver, and this might also be for a staff member, maybe you're looking for a staff member who's a beaver, you know, and you're having to look for somebody who has those. But if you run across a beaver and you're trying to track me into the alliance, you know, I would say one of the things that I'm really looking for is I'm not looking to hang my hopes on a person or an individual's personality. I'm really looking to see, is there a greater process that I can step into that's going to make me successful? So, you know, if I've never sold anything before in my life, and this is something that's way outside my wheelhouse as a beaver, I need to know that there is something that from the moment I step into the alliance all the way until I'm a top producer, there's a process, right? And that process is going to be this greater machine that's going to help me move along, right? That it's greater than just you, Terry, and your personality, that there's some overarching machine that I can kind of link into and be successful, right? And so that process, you need to kind of talk to me about facts. You know, these are the facts. These are the companies that I'm representing. These are they're all A-rated. You know, you're going to be speaking my love language when you're talking factual. I'm going to need to know that you're credible or that your upline is credible. You know, if you're brand new to recruiting, borrow your upline's credibility. They've been doing this business for a long time. They've had success. I need to know that the people that I'm going to be working with have some credibility.
So wait a minute. Wait.
Yeah.
So let me just you're throwing a lot of, you know, I like to be out here and you down here. I'm coming down here where you at. So
Okay.
let me just make sure I'm hearing you right. So if I'm trying to recruit you and I'm talking about, you know, how much fun we have on the trips and coming to the meetings and let's say that, you know, you have to love people. How would that, I guess, like if I'm talking about those things, how is that going to make you feel about joining our team?
You know, that's a really good point, Terry, because I think if you start talking to me that I need to have this personality to be successful, if somehow this is a personality-based sales system, then that's going to turn me off right from the get-go. Because my personality, those of you who know me, a lot of my enthusiasm is kind of manufactured because it's just not naturally who I am. I'm very to the point, very factually based. So if you're telling me that the way to be successful here is that we've got to go to the meetings and get on the stage and show a bunch of enthusiasm and love people in general, I'm not gonna see myself in that role. Now
You can play it, but you just won't own it.
And exactly. And in the beginning, that's a little bit too much for me to handle. Now, as I'm working through becoming successful in the alliance, then I'm going to become more like a Terry Edwards. I'm going to become more like a Jeff Bright. But in the beginning, that's a little bit much for me to handle. And so you're going to have to keep it toned down. You're going to have to make sure that I know that anybody can be successful here as long as you work hard, as long as you are, the quality of your work is high, that you're putting in the effort. I'm going to know that I can be successful also. So don't pin it on a personality-based success system. This is a systems-based success system. And that is true. You know, in the Alliance, we have a system that's going to walk us through and make us successful. We just have to be able to step into it. And does that make sense? I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
I'm gonna say this about Jake. Jake's he's evolved. Now he still sounds like compared to me and Terry, he still sounds like a beaver. But I'll tell you what, Jake's heart's there, and he's got a good heart. And that's what makes him attractive to golden retrievers. Because Jake's really good selling to other beavers, obviously, because he's a beaver. He's good recruiting other beavers because he's a beaver. But those beavers, they want to do right by people, and he can recruit those golden retrievers, and he can recruit those lions. It's just me and Terry. And you know what he's learned, Terry? I don't know if you know this story or not. When I do these calls for Jake's team, I used to wear, whatever color shirt I wear. I told him I like to be complimented, and he would start off every call. I'm surprised he didn't do it today. You look good in yellow, Jeff. Did I tell you look good in yellow? You remember doing that, Jake?
Oh, yeah. I'm teachable sometimes.
Yes. And I knew it was manufactured, but hey, I like it when they tell me it's been my pleasure at Chick-fil-A. I know they don't mean it. I just me and Terry just like hearing it. We don't care if you mean it. Just say it. We don't mind you patronizing us. We like we like being patronized. All right, Terry, tell us now Jake told you what he wants from you when he's being recruited. What do you want from a beaver that they might struggle with? What do you want from them to get you excited about the project and be recruited? What do you want the beaver to do?
So first of all, I do need to pause for a quick second. And first of all, thank, of course, Andy and Jane, Jeff, Jason. And bro, Jeff Wright, thank you so much on behalf of the entire Dream Team. And I know the Alliance, but specifically, I know what you do for our team. Every single Monday night at 7:00, you take time out of your schedule away from Nancy and all of y'all cats and stuff to pour into our team. And we're forever grateful for what you have done for us and the way that you have supported us. So I really do appreciate you. Jake, even though he's a Beaver, I think being a Beaver is not a bad thing. So a lot of times I think we start thinking about our animals and who we are as, oh, that's a downside. No, man, that's really cool. Jake, thank you for serving the country, because you have to be level-headed to go into enemy's territory and not even necessarily agree with the political agenda of the commander-in-chief who sent you there, but you had enough level-headedness to put your own personal feelings aside to accomplish the mission. And I'm anybody that serves our country and put their lives on the line and do what you guys do for our freedoms, I'm forever grateful. So now, but I will tell you, Jake, I ain't going to war with you. I won't cut out from that. But if you want me to join your team, okay, first of all, you can't get on the phone sounding like we just doing a run-of-the-mill interview. What do I mean by that? We get these calls all the time. Hi, are you still licensed in the state of North Carolina? Yeah, we ran across your name on the state license list, and we're looking for agents to sell our products. I'm like, within about 10 seconds of that call, I'm disconnected. I want to feel like that I'm the only one that you've called that day, and I'm the one that can help you carry out the mission. And I don't want you to be lethargic. I don't want you to be melancholy. I want you to sound fun. I want you to talk to me like I'm a person and not just a recruit. Does that make sense? So I want you to sound like you, first of all, that you're excited about your opportunity. Talk to me. Tell me about how much fun we're going to have within our culture. Tell me about how we're going to travel the world together. Tell me about how we go to our trainings, quote unquote trainings, but it really feels like a rock concert. We got lights, we got cameras, we got action, baby. We got smoke, we got pyrographic, we got fire shooting up from the stage. Tell me about the fun. That's why I love our motto of have fun, make money, make a difference, right? But also ask me about my goodness. Talk to me about, ask me questions about what I've done well in the past so that you can tell me you like me. I want to be liked. I want to feel like I'm liked and that I can contribute, that I am the one that you've been looking for. Not that you're going to hire anybody that come across, anybody say, yes, they get in. I get it. But I really want to feel like that I'm the one that you've been looking for all your life. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like Jason was looking through a haystack and I was the needle. I'm the one. You know what I'm saying? So those are the type of things that I want to hear. But more importantly, how you make me feel. It's not just about what I hear, but it's also about how you make me feel.
So let me see if I get this straight. So if I'm upbeat and enthusiastic, that's a number one kind of positive for you. You want to work with somebody who's upbeat, positive, has some enthusiasm. Even if it's not natural to me, that's how I need to present myself. And then it almost sounds like you won't know.
Hey, Jay, I won't know if you're faking or not. It's just a phone call.
That's right. That's right. But also more so, you want to be pursued. It sounds like you want to be kind of that center of my attention, where I am pursuing you to come into our business because of the qualities that you're presenting. So I might be asking you some questions, like what are some questions that I could be asking you to pull out your greatness so that I can then, I guess, like shine a light on those greatness. You know what I mean? If you want to be great in my eyes, like how do I ask questions that's going to pull that out of you?
Oh, that's awesome. That's good, man. So like asking me about, so tell me about your career. What are some of the most fulfilling things that you've done in your career, or what are some barriers that you feel like that you've broken in your past, or, you know, what is it that you're looking for? What is your vision for the future? That's going to pull out a lot of who I am and what I've done. And hopefully you at the end, you'll be like, oh man, you're so awesome. God broke the mold when he made you. Tia is so blessed to be married to you. like pour it on, baby.
Okay. No, that's great, Terry. And with you, it's easy to pour it on because you really are a mentor and a role model for me. So I appreciate you very much. Thanks for sharing that with me.
And Jake, I will say this to all the Beavers. All you got to say to me and Terry is 3 magic words. Learn. All you people got, all of you, Lions, Goldens, all of you need to learn these 3 magic words that just, you got us eating out of the palm of your hand. 3 magic words to the Otter is tell me more. But you got to be willing to sit there and listen to us tell you more. Okay. So, yeah. And do you like my yellow shirt? Because I picked this out. Do you like this yellow?
I love it, Jeff. Like it's something with the yellow brick road behind you on that painting. Right. It just it fits in perfectly. Right. So I'm super pumped about that shirt.
What about my Merlot color shirt here? You know.
Well, it matches perfectly your Secure Financial Partner logo, and I want to say something to the other Beavers out there that there may not be that many of us, but you can break out of that mold, and we have to do that. No matter what animal you are, especially lions and beavers, we're so set in our ways of, we want it our way. If we don't learn to break out of that and be what we need to be for other people, then, that will be a problem for us. It's not a badge of honor that I'm a beaver. Hopefully anybody that I'm recruiting won't know what animal I am. If I can get as good as Terry, as good as, everybody on this call. So I just wanted to point that out.
I'm going to, before we go to the next pairing, I'm going to say a little overview here we'll have Jake and Terry leave for a minute, and then everybody's going to be back on at the end. But the advice I would give to Terry and me when we're dealing with a beaver is we need to be a little bit more deliberate. And I know we like to tell stories, and we go all the way around something to get to a point. When we're dealing with a beaver, they're not so excited about our stories. Also, we need to be, and I know you otters hate this word, we need to be prepared. Sometimes we just kind of fly by the seat of our pants and we're not prepared. The beaver can sniff out that we're not prepared. And matter of fact, beavers are the most suspicious of all the animals. And guess who they're the most suspicious of? The otter. And they should be. And then here's what I would say that, Jake, the beavers need to do. Be a little bit open if you're trying to sell to us or recruit us. Be open to our stories. Be amazed by stories. Be just like enthralled in what we're talking about and going, you did what? Wow, that is amazing. Oh my God. I could sit here and listen to you all day long. And then need to recognize things that we've done. You did what? Oh, I could never do that. Even if you've done it, don't tell them you did it. Otters don't like to be topped. Don't top them. Don't sit there going, hey, you went mountain climbing. Well, I climbed 3 mountains yesterday. Don't tell that part. It might be a fact, beavers, but don't share. You're oversharing. Okay. All right. Let's go. Dee, we're going to go to the next pairing, an exciting pairing, an important pairing. Jake and Terry, thank you so much. And we'll come back to you. We're going to put a bow on this. Let's go to Jason and Marnie. Jason and Marnie. So I don't want to sit here and say that, Marnie, do you like you and Jason being on the screen? All right. So I don't want to sit here and say this is the most important, but I think this is the most important thing that we need to reconcile. One reason is there's 58% of these in the population. Yeah, she's got safety in numbers.
Them Goldens walk among us.
Walk among us.
Walk among us.
And a lot of people in this business, Lions particularly, are really good at this business. Lions tend to be really good. Really, really good. I always say, Lions sell a lot of insurance. Hey, but otters are the best at sales, but we don't sell as much because we don't get an issue paid because we're terrible at paperwork. And the beaver, they know how to do that paperwork. But you know what? The golden retrievers are the best at getting people to trust them because they're trustworthy. I mean, they don't really know how good they could be in this business. We could learn a lesson or two from the golden retrievers. We just got to teach them to be a little bit more assertive like the lion. Because I'm going to tell you what, that golden retriever, if you're not careful, they'll come in your home and say, hey, you sure you can afford this? Because if you can't afford it, I don't want to sell it to you. And, I'll mow your grass before I leave. They're very good people. They're going to be the first to get in heaven. That's the good news. Good news about that. So I want to talk about the importance of this is because our Lions sell a lot of insurance to Goldens, and you could sell the Golden. They might buy from you, and they might let you to recruit them. But the golden retriever of all four animals, that ugly word that we hate in our business called chargebacks. Guess who chargebacks? Where the biggest chargebacks are? With Goldens. They buy the policy from you. They buy what you're saying when you're recruiting. Then they ghost you for 3 months because they're just listening to you out of being polite and being kind. They're sitting there going, when this fool shuts up, I'm going to ghost them. I'm going to cancel that policy because I didn't really want it. I just didn't want to hurt their feelings because they're so nice. They're lovable. They're very lovable. So Jason needs to spend a little bit more time, and he's learned this, catering to the Golden's needs of being a bond. He wants to create a bond, and you can't create a bond in 15 minutes. You're going to have to stay a little bit longer. And somebody goes, I had a lion say, how long do I have to bond with these Goldens? As long as it takes. Heck, as long as it takes. All right. So, hey, Jason, let's let you go first, and let's go ahead and hear what Jason and the Lions want to happen when they're being recruited. Jason?
Yeah.
Your turn.
Jeff, appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, working in these animals, man, I'm sitting there listening to Terry and Jake and you, and when you recruit somebody, it's a lot like dating, Jeff. It's a lot like dating. If you really like someone, you're going to change your colors. You're going to learn to sing a different tune when you're doing it. It's kind of like if I want to learn to really communicate with someone of a different language, if they speak Spanish and I don't, or Creole, I got to learn that language, their language, and that's what we got to do, learning these different animal personalities that we got to deal with. So what all lions want to hear, when you talk to a lion, they want to hear, how big's the company? Is the company having success? What's your data management look like? Are you guys running this thing? I remember I was telling Andy Riddle, like, well, I think now that my wife's got her license, I'm gonna go up to corporate, make sure you guys aren't running this thing out of a PO box. Does the company have a track record of onboarding people from whatever industry? I was coming from the banking industry, my wife, luggage handling industry at American Airlines. How are you going to help her be successful? Do you have a lead system? Do you have people being successful with the leads? How is she going to get coaching on product knowledge? So, how does she maintain her clients and her pipeline? That's what a lion wants to hear. Do I have to, invent an NAA university, or do you have already that in your system to train me with product knowledge? So a lion wants to, hear what he wants to hear and then make a decision if it's a fit for him. And then that joker gets to working and gets to running because he wants to be number one. He wants to finish first in the race. I want to hear the nuts and bolts. How do you guys work? Are you a big enough company? Like if I'm, your best, your only recruit that year, that's probably not a fit. Like, I want to know I got some competition on the table that I can compete against, that it's already a proven system that you guys have got together, and all I got to do is learn it and go out there and work. That's what a lion wants to hear.
You could tell that Jason speaks with a lot of urgency. So if you want to recruit him, and I would tell golden retrievers this, they need to, and I've told Marnie this, you got to get to the point. But you got to get to the point because they're so urgent. They don't have time to sit there and have nothing conversations. See, Goldens love to go, well, Jason, what'd you do yesterday? Nothing. What you gonna do tomorrow? Nothing. That's what I did. Nothing. Have you ever watched this program? I watched it all day Saturday and got caught up on it. Have you ever watched? You don't want to have those discussions with a lion. You want to condense down what you take 5 sentences to say. The lion wants you to take 1 sentence. And they don't like open-ended questions. They hate open-ended questions like, well, how'd you make your first million? Don't go up to them at convention and ask them an open-ended question. They like true and false, yes and no, multiple choices, pushing it. And if you ask them too many open-ended questions, they're going to remember who you are and they're going to avoid you because they ain't got time to answer these open-ended questions. Go up and ask them, how many years did it take you to do this? All right. That's a direct answer. They can give you one word answer, right? So that's just what you got to do with them. Now, most importantly, we've learned a lot today, but we need to listen more carefully to what Marnie's about to say about her kind because there's more of them. There's more of them. You got a really good chance, and you cannot recruit Goldens being your lion self. Jason knows this. He's tried it. It don't work. He's going to have to calm it down a little bit. That urgency he's going to have to put it on a shelf somewhere for a little bit. All right. So, Marnie, tell us about the golden retrievers and what do you want us to say to you? What is your love language? What do you want us to talk about?
Well, first, what I'd like to say, Jeff, is thanks for having me on the call. Totally appreciate it. And I love your yellow shirt and I love your toys. Okay. Terry, I absolutely think you're the most amazing, fantastic person I've ever met in my life. I can't get enough of you.
Don't stop.
Jake,
you can keep going.
You are so organized and so on point. If I did not have a beaver in my life, I would be absolutely lost. Okay. You have got it on par. And, Jason, you're just damn awesome. I mean, you are the bomb. I want to be you. Show me how to be you. How's that for a start?
Good start.
So my love language is obviously, to me, it's love. I am always trying to be friendly and caring and compassionate, and my heart is in everything, like 100%. And typically, you can see right through me. Okay, I am amazed that Jason actually recruited me, and I'm actually sitting here today without having known any of this animal talk because it's been a rough, bumpy road, I tell you. At the beginning, if Jason would talk to me, it took a while to recruit me because I have to trust you. And everything Jason was saying, what he needs for recruiting to me is like blah, 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 blah. It's more like, how does it feel? Do I feel comfortable? Do I trust him? Is it fun? Is it good? People get along? Not any of those other things that he mentioned, which I totally probably blocked out already. Especially my hardest person to talk to and have talked to me is a beaver. That happens to be my most difficult because I have a lot of practice with Jason now. I know this. We are going to go right at it with him. Jason's become a Renaissance lion, we call it, because he used to send me home crying, man. My daughter used to have to call him up and give him a pow pow. Like, you can't talk to me that way. I just don't work that way. I need to feel good about what I'm doing. I need to feel part of a team. I need to feel I can accomplish something. I'm going to be beneficial. I'm going to be supported, heard. It's just a totally emotional level of evolution than a beaver or a lion that works totally on show me the facts. I guess we'd be more like an otter, all right, on emotion. It just got to feel good. I totally don't motivate or move on feeling bad. You got to do this to get this. It just doesn't work for me, or getting down on me. So I'm really proud of Jason and I that we've actually, yes, we are proven fact that he recruited me. He's married to a retriever. That he can adapt, and he's open to speaking other languages, because otherwise this could not have worked. We joke around when we tried to get anything done that Olga, Sabrina, and I would have to have a 3-on-1, so the retrievers
let me Marnie, what did this lion tell you as a golden retriever? Like, what did I do well in the beginning? Because I remember I did real well with you in the beginning, then I started to crack down, and that's where I got the pow pow from your daughter. But in the beginning, like, what was I telling you that you liked? Like, what did you need to hear as a golden retriever that you liked about our system, or me and Olga, or whatever?
Well, at the beginning, you were very patient with me until I trusted you. I was very reluctant on coming on board, and you didn't push me too hard. You're like, yeah, give it a try. How's that working out there? Not working too well. We're here if you need us. We won't let you down. We've got you, which showed me that I was welcomed and I had support. And you told me, which is rained through totally you and Olga, you're like, you're a badass. Am I allowed to say that? And you have to know that you are. And you just
that frustrated the hell out of me as a lion, because after I met you, after about 6 months of knowing you and working with you, I'm like, oh my God, doesn't this woman know that everybody likes her? She can build rapport and trust in the home. She's going to have no problems. And you were just battling this and battling that, but you fought through it. And I was just that. So as a lion, that frustrated the heck out of me. I'm just like, when is she going to realize the power that's inside of her? Like, everybody loves Marnie.
It's so funny you say that. What frustrated me was, I'm like, well, you can only feel what you feel. And I guess a retriever is so, I've learned, hungry for acceptance and that love, that they're good, that a lot of times I would miss the whole point, and I'd feel, I feel bad more about what somebody thinks rather than really what the big picture is. That I don't feel that way at all. And I'm sure us fellow retrievers out there, we need to feel good, but not good in an otter way. Like, you're beautiful, you're this, your shirt's great. We need to feel it genuine. I can sense on a phone call if somebody's listening to me. I always joke around to Jason. I'll be talking to him. They'll say, okay, I got to get on this Zoom call now. And I'm like, do you really? Because that's the way he stops talking to me when he wants to stop talking to me as retriever. Because sometimes I just want to talk. I get it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's a good point, I think, because lions sometimes, if we didn't know who they were, Marnie, our feelings would get hurt because they're so direct and they don't have a lot of grace. The way they get off the phone, they just kind of like end it. Like, we're in the middle of a conversation and they look at the clock like, hey, got to go see you. I'm like, whoa, what happened? Then I spent a half hour trying to figure out, did I say something to make them mad? And it's really, it's nothing. That's just how they end.
It's no big deal.
No big deal. Yeah. So I think it's important that we understand and appreciate each other and where we come from. We got to meet people where they're at, not where we want them to be.
It's been a lot of work with Jason. I'll be honest with you. I mean, I know things always look different on the outside, but it's been a lot of work with Jason and I, and communicating, and we are on. He's 100% plus lion, and I was like 100% plus retriever, and we are just. I swear, I used to talk to him just getting on the phone. I just want to cry. He could say something nice or okay, and I'd just be like, oh my God, what did he say? What did he mean by this? So I love him, and I love Olga. I can't believe I'm still here. And without his support and his wanting to speak retriever and wanting to invest his time and energy in me, I wouldn't be here now.
Well, our relationship's a great triumph to what Albright's put together and what Jeff Bright does for our team. And Jeff, Terry was saying he pours into his team on Mondays. He pours into our team from 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock at night on Mondays, doing some great work there, groundbreaking work, and helping people learn that you don't have to suffer through your own. You can grow and have a rebirth from yourself, whatever animal you are. There's no one animal better than another freaking animal. All the animals are awesome. What you got to learn as a recruiter, as a person who truly wants to help someone, if you want to have a better relationship and communicate with anybody, I don't care if it's business, your children, your spouse, your aunt and uncles, your boss, your subordinates, whoever it is, you got to learn how to communicate with these different lines, because it shows how much you care. If a lion is willing to slow down and listen to a golden retriever, or if a lion is willing to slow down and talk to a beaver and tell them, or if a lion is willing to talk with another lion, I mean, that shows growth and personal development in you wanting to become a better leader. Because what we do here at the Alliance, guys, is very honorable work. We're going into people's houses, we're sitting down with them and talking about life decisions. So learn that, and this can be given to Goldens. You can take this logic and apply it to sales in the home too.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Jeff's worked a lot with us on that.
Yeah, it applies real well to that. I will say this about the lion to sum up what help and help support Marnie here is what we want from the lion as Goldens is them to be a little bit more patient. Just when they're thinking hey, I'm about to end this, let it go a couple minutes longer. Just a couple minutes longer, and they need to learn to not just listen to the words come out of our mouths as golden retrievers, because I feel like I'm half golden sometimes. I have that part. I sound like Chris Tucker when I said that. Listen to the words come out of my mouth. I think they need to learn to hear the words, not just listen to the words, but actually let those words register with them. And we want to know that, hey, we'll
feel it.
Huh? Yeah, you feel it.
They got to believe it.
Yeah, we'll start to trust you, Jason, when we know that you care about us. But until you care about us, we're going to withhold that trust.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that right, Marty?
Yeah, it's absolutely right. And we can tell when a lion is preoccupied or stopped listening. Just because you're looking at us or on the phone with us doesn't mean you're still listening, and we can tell. So that means you're not interested.
That's right.
Yeah, they got these antennas. These golden retrievers, they got these antennas. They tune into stuff I don't even know what's happening with.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna tell you what I've seen lions do. That's kind of funny, but it's kind of not. But it's kind of funny. It's not funny if it happens to you. Those lions have such a short attention span. If you meet with them, like if you're at a conference and they're sitting there having to, have a conversation. This golden's just, talking about stuff. The lion's sitting there. They're looking around. And I always wanted to know what y'all were looking around for, because you look around a lot and you look at your phone a lot, like that time's going to magically move faster or something, like you're losing minutes of your life. And then you look around. I know what you're looking around for now, Jason. Exits. You're looking for the exits. You're trying to get away from us. And I'll tell you what you do. What they do, and I think it's mean, is they will see an otter. They'll see an otter from the distance, and they'll call them over and go, hey, because they know me and Terry like to talk. Hey, have you ever met this person here? That y'all could get along really good. And then they leave us together. Yeah. That's mean. That's me, Jason. I've seen y'all do it. Seen it happen. All right. Hey, we're going to bring everybody back. I think this was, I'm feeling like this is a good call. I really, awesome. I feel like it's a little different. It's a little good. All right. We're going to bring everybody back. I want to talk to y'all about noticing. It's one thing to sit here and talk about these, and we, got to take a test. Oh, you got to figure it out. We have an online test. How can you pick out these animals if you don't know what you're supposed to do? Is if you don't know who you're talking to. So if you don't know who you're talking to, how do you know who you're talking to?
What animal do you got to pull out? You don't know what animal to pull out until the animal that's sitting across from you or on the other end of the phone.
And they may not reveal themselves really quick, and you might make a mistake, right? I'm going to give you some tips about which one you might be talking to here. But let me say this before I do that. You can tell when a lion is getting a little bit restless, so to speak. They start to become the ugly side of the lion. the ugly side, is they start to become a little bit blunt. Now, they don't intend to hurt your feelings. That's just the way they talk to other lions. I've always said, if a golden retriever was walking by, watching two lions talk to each other, they would call the police because they think it's going to be a fight. It ain't going to be a fight. That's just how they talk to each other. How you doing today? I don't know. How you doing? Why are you asking? Rah, 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 rah. And then they hug each other, hug it out. The golden retriever's like all confused by that relationship. So the lion is very blunt. That is just their nature. Jason could be blunt. He just, he'll just say blunt things. He don't mean anything by them. I know he doesn't. That's just how he talks sometimes. Jake. This is how I know when Jake's had enough. Jake, are you ready for this? Are you back, Jake? All right. The beaver, they don't really get in touch with their emotions too much. So nothing really is emotional. Whatever you think they mean by it, they don't mean by it. Everything's black and white. There is no gray with them. So therefore, everything's very absolute. 2 + 2 is 4, and they sleep better at night knowing that. Me and Terry think it might be 5 one day, and we're holding out when it's going to be 5. Nothing's absolute to me and Terry. But Jake, if we could perceive that he's upset with us because what he's trying to do is correct something, and it comes off as being critical, especially to me and Terry. Did he have to tell us right in the middle of our presentation, I think you mispronounced that word? Is it necessary to correct us at that moment? And then we perceive it as, oh, you're being critical. Oh, so if you're critical of me and Terry, you're going to get the ugly side of me and Terry, which is, guess what? We become sarcastic. Oh, the game is on. Oh, you going to criticize me? Oh, well, then I'm going to make fun of you because now the sarcasm is going to come out in my voice. Right? Now, the golden retriever, what do? When they're not happy, they shut down. They stop talking. They just sit there and shake their head and they're plotting your death for later. So they're fuming, but they're not going to show you that because they're so passive. They're very indecisive when they shut down. They don't want to make any decision and they just become very, very polite. And you better be careful when they're being quiet and polite. That means they're waiting to get you by a grassy knoll of some type. Those of you who don't know what that means, I'm sorry. You're from the generation that you're from. All right. So that was a joke. All right. So let's pick out how to recognize Jake with and now you know that he's a beaver. But look, like me and Terry said, we love Jake. Everybody loves Jake. I love Jake. I mean, Jake and me are good buddies. We're good buddies. But I do know that a beaver needs some information. They're on a information trying to figure out things. They need facts. They will ask you stuff like, how long have you been selling insurance? And some of you are not ready for that. They're wanting to know, they're vetting you. You feel like you're on the witness stand and they're cross-examining you. That's how I know when I'm talking to a beaver. I can tell. I can tell because my otter is too much for them and they get this look on their face. I had one the other night. I was talking and she said, you talk a lot. You could talk less. I'm thinking, I got me a full-fledged beaver right in front of me. I don't need a test for you, lady. I don't need a test. Right. Anyway, I love that lady. I love all beavers. I don't care what animal you are. I love everybody. Everybody's got a purpose and everybody's skill set is needed. We need to be a little bit otter, a little bit lion, a little bit golden, a little bit beaver. I call that, so you guys will know, what I call that is, I have it somewhere here. Be a little fun when you're with people. Be a little fun. If you can't, don't tell corny jokes, but be a little fun. Be a little bit ice-breaking. Try to find common ground. Be that otter. Be friendly. Sit there and bond with them. Let them tell you about their long-lost brother that they hadn't spoke to them in 30 years and they miss them. Let them tell you about that. Bond with them. Create trust. Bonding creates trust. Then hey, you're going to have to be factual at some point. You're going to have to show them these policies and tell them how these things work. You're going to have to do that. And then at the end, be Jason Mathis. Learn how to say, this point, okay, we've done enough. Get your checkbook. Let's write a check. Let's make this thing happen. Be firm. Fun, friendly, factual, firm. The 4 F's. You got to be all 4 animals. Now, how do you know if you got a line in front of you? Because they're going tick-tock. Hey, you got 15 minutes to tell me why I should join the alliance. 15 minutes. I got it. Hey, daylight's burning right now. I got to mow the backyard. You're holding me up from mowing the backyard. This better be good. Tick-tock. Okay? And if you got an ATM and you put it on in front of them, they'll probably go knock it on the floor. Don't freak out, because they'll go, I don't need to see that. Just get to the point. Get to the point, mister. Get to the point. I don't need to see all this stuff. I don't need to see the picture of you kids. I don't need to see all that. Let's go. Tell me what you got. TikTok. That's the line. And then if you got a golden in front of you, goldens will care for you. They'll offer you pound cake. They'll offer you tea. They'll give you stuff. They want to care. People that don't get enough care themselves will over care for other people. And it tells me, my goldens tell me all the time when they're trying to help me or trying to care for me and take care of me, that's telling me they're not getting enough care. So if I double down on trying to care for them, they're not getting it from their family, their spouse, or whatever. And if I try to show that I care for them, they're thirsty for that. So when somebody tries to overly accommodate you, because that's what goldens are, they overly accommodate, they want you to care for them. They're begging for it. They're hungry for it. Give it to them. Give them what they want. The otter, me and Terry, all you need to know about me and Terry, if you can't pick out me and Terry in a crowd, something's wrong with you. You don't need a test. Because we like to talk, and we are talking fools, and we will talk. We want to be recognized that we're in the room, recognized for what we've done. We want to, we're very optimistic, upbeat. If you go in our house to try to sell us or try to talk to us about recruiting us, we'll go, hey, how long you been doing this? 10 years? Hey, 20 years ago, I used to sell insurance, and I won every trip that they had. I got every award they had. Let me tell you what happened 20 years ago. You want to hear it? I will tell you about it. And you better act like you want to hear about it. You don't want to hear. They don't want to hear what happened 25 years ago when I used to sell insurance and I was the best in the land. He could care less about it, but he's going to have to pretend like he cares. He's going to have to recognize me and Terry. All right, we're getting to the end here. I'd like to give each of my participants a hand, and I want them to have the last word. I want them to say some parting words about being a lion, about being a beaver, about being a golden, about being an otter. So, hey, I learned my lesson. We're going to let Terry go first because we got to recognize, got to let the otters go first, right? So, Terry, impart some wisdom to say, give these folks for some parting words.
Wisdom. Ooh. Well, listen, being an otter is so fun. We are the life of the party. If you want a party, we bring the party to the party. That's what we do, baby. So as you are going out building your business and you run across an otter, just remember, they want to have some fun. They want to make some money. And at the end of the day, they want to make a difference. They want to contribute. So that's my parting words. Thank you, Terry. How about you, Jason?
Well, I'll tell you, I was thinking being a lion's awesome, and I'm married to a golden retriever, and it's awesome, and you really have to care enough to understand the psychology of what this being a Homo sapien is all about. If you really want to impact people's lives. So if I want to be an a-hole lion the rest of my life, that's it. I can do that. But if I want to turn myself into a Renaissance lion and learn to develop my otter, my golden retriever, and my beaver, and my skill set to figure out what those are, then you can do it here at the Alliance. We have a system in place. Albright and his team of people that he's put in place and put in front of us to access to, people like Jeff Bright, Mark Aceta, Clay Murtis, LPT, Lead Performance Team President's Club. We have everything in place at the Alliance for you guys to grow past yourself and not jam yourself into a hole of I'm just this personality and little old me can't grow and learn how to deal with a lion. Yes, a golden retriever can learn how to develop their lion inside of them, because we've got all 4 personality types inside of us. We just have a dominant and a recessive. So guys, I say, do it, jump in and go all in and talk to Jeff Bright and rock it out.
Thank you, Jason. Thank you so much. How about you, Marnie?
Well, I'm obviously a retriever, and I love being a retriever because for me, it just feels so genuine and true, and I'm compassionate and caring, and I get to help people, and that's really what I love to do. But in turn, I do want to be loved. However, I think if you are a retriever, it's done me so much good to get myself around and learn about, especially lions. I've grown so much in the past year or so working with Jason and working with Jeff on just learning how to, I always call it that I lion up. So when I start getting pushed against the wall or get backed in a corner, or somebody takes me out of my comfort zone with, no, this way, do it this way. And I've learned how to lion up and not also get hurt and take everything so personal. I take everything personal. I think about why this happened or why that happened, or like you said, did he really have to get off the phone? Maybe he just had to get off the phone. So it's helped a lot. So I think working with you and the Alliance has just been incredible on a professional level and a personal level, and learning how to talk to people and work with people. I love it.
Thank you, Marty. That's beautiful. Jake.
Yes, sir. So, I think what I would say is that probably more than any other animal, the beaver wants to be in a shell and wants to kind of, bury their head in systems. The best things in life are the love, the enthusiasm, the joy, the excitement. I think one thing that this business does is helps us break out of whatever animal we are. And one thing that I'm extremely grateful for the Alliance is it's helping me to experience joy and relationships and love and things that, are not really in my nature. That makes me sound bad, but, and the enthusiasm and the excitement, those are things that make me better as a human being. So if you're like me and you just kind of want to bury your head in the spreadsheet and be a beaver, break out of that, experience things that you never would have experienced if you hadn't found the Alliance. Take advantage of that, be open to it, be open to change, and ultimately be a well-rounded animal. I don't know what a lion, beaver, otter, golden would look like if you kind of put it together, be like a duck-billed platypus or something, but whatever the case is, that's really the ultimate goal, is to just experience all of it and be good at all of it. So I'm super grateful to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Jake. And thank you all for being on the call, and Jason for hosting it. And, look, I choose to do this for a living, to help these folks. And I choose these people to be my friends first and foremost. I don't need them to be my friends. I choose them to be my friends. Choice beats need every day of the week. That's what I'm going to be talking about at NatCon, the power of choice. So, we're ending a little early today, but that's our show today. I hope you got something out of it. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you guys at the next event. We'll definitely see you in NatCon. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
See you, Alliance Nation. Take care.
Thank you, guys.
Bye, y'all.